Hi, everyone, and welcome back to the weekly MMA Cycles Market Update. Today is Wednesday, November 26th, 2025. I'm Gianni DePoce, your host, and it's a shortened trading week because markets will be closed tomorrow in observance of Thanksgiving here in the United States. And then on Friday, it will be a shortened trading session with markets closing at 1 p.m. Eastern. So let's go ahead and take a look at what's going on in the markets today. We have that grand trine between Venus, Jupiter, and Saturn in water signs, and markets are loving it right now. We're getting a nice rebound off of that low from last week. We're not that far from all-time highs, about 2% in the Dow. Most importantly, we are seeing the NASDAQ show some nice relative strength here today. It is up the most, and we are seeing some of that strength creep back into the semiconductor sector, which is so very important when it comes to the artificial intelligence trade, which is a big theme in this bull market. Now, a pretty intense week of geocosmic activity here because this weekend we have Mercury going direct. So the trickster, which was full of tricks once again during this month of November, will be going direct on Saturday. And then the same day, there is an opposition between Venus and Uranus. There's a lot of Venusian activity this week, actually, because the following day, on Sunday, Venus is going to be ingressing into the sign of Sagittarius. But just before the ingress, we'll have a trine to Neptune. So markets so far liking the geocosmic backdrop here. We're in Sagittarius season, which historically is pretty bullish for markets. You've heard about the Santa Claus rally and, whatnot. That's actually toward the end of the year, actually in Capricorn season. But Sagittarius tends to bring a more buoyant mood to the markets. But, back to tech here with the Uranus signature coming up. Don't be surprised if we get an acceleration in this move, or really just a surprise in general. It does appear that the Fed is going to cut rates on December 10th, which is 2 weeks from today. There was some commentary from Fed officials this past week that pretty much locked in that rate cut. So we are seeing bonds respond well. It does look like our forecast for lower rates into the first, perhaps even second quarter of 2026 is going to carry out. You take a look at crude oil, decent bounce here, still struggling to sustain any sort of rally. Again, you have that grand trine today with Jupiter involved, Jupiter and Neptune being the co-rulers of the energy market. And then, of course, you have that trine with Venus and Neptune this weekend. So keep an eye on that. I'm not ruling out the possibility of a washout to significantly lower prices in the energy market in the beginning part of 2026 that would kind of set the stage for inflation to eventually make a return next year. Of course, once Neptune gets deeper into the sign of Aries, a fire sign next year, still in the last degrees of Pisces here, but I think that will lead to a return of inflation. Gold and silver, we just had the contract rolled in the futures markets, but taking a look at GLD, the ETF here, hanging out near the highs. One thing that I'm concerned about near term is the fact that silver is still leading. You don't see it here. I'll actually pull up the futures contract, but you'll see how silver actually made a new all-time high earlier this month, and gold did not. So, usually you want to see gold leading first. But, if we are going to see the Fed continue to cut rates, it would be bullish for metals going into next year. A little bit of a pullback here in the dollar. Shift gears over the last few days. A bit of a rebound today against the Japanese yen. I mentioned recently that I recently completed the forecast for 2026 in the dollar yen. Ray had asked me to do that again, and I think this is going to be a very important currency next year to keep an eye on. Some really amazing transits that you'll want to keep watch on, specifically when it comes to the Bank of Japan's natal chart. I do discuss that in the Forecast 2026 book, which is at the printer. It's at the printer. You can still order it here at MMAcycles.com. I think it's Ray's over 40 years of doing that, maybe even closer to 50, but just a remarkable book, an excellent game plan for the year ahead, and it's just filled with tremendous insights with several of MMA's analysts contributing to this fantastic annual publication. So keeping an eye on the dollar here against the euro. The euro is up here today, so I'd keep a close watch on currencies, especially with all these Venusian aspects that I listed just moments ago. So, you take out this high from November 13th, that would be a very good sign. And, Venus opposite Uranus, we look for resistance or support to break during Uranus signatures. So there's a possibility of that. Of course, it's going to be happening the same day that Mercury goes direct. So still, not out of the woods when it comes to the trickster, but we are on those final days. Let's go ahead and take a look at what's going on here in crypto. Nice rebound today in Bitcoin. You are up now. Let's see. Oop, that kind of went away. You are up about 11-12% from those lows of November 21st. So the big question now is whether the 4-year cycle has topped out. That remains to be seen. Let's see how we close out the month. There's a few days left in the month of November. The monthly close for Bitcoin will be very important. We are still seeing some good strength come from Ethereum as well, but there still are a lot of technical resistance levels that will need to be overcome to put this back in the camp of the bulls. But if any signature is going to lead to a big move, I would look for it to be Uranus or the opposition between Venus and Uranus, which is coming up. So important time here for cryptocurrencies. But that's what we had for today, everyone. I appreciate you all tuning in on behalf of MMA. I want to wish you all, for all of our American viewers, a happy Thanksgiving. We are so thankful for you. I'm thankful for this platform, this YouTube channel that we've built out over the last few years. I'm thankful for you tuning in. I'm thankful for Ray, Allie, Amy, Jackie. Those are the the behind the scenes team that runs everything here at MMA, and of course our impressive list of analysts. So gratitude is important, everyone. Being thankful is very important. There's a lot to be thankful about in this world. So it's Sagittarius season, guys. Let's carry that positivity into the end of the year and look to make 2026 our best one yet ever here at MMA. So thanks again for watching, everyone. Please hit the like button and subscribe. We'll be back next week, same time, same place. Take care, everyone.